Now, Nick Palumbo opened his first outrageously flavoured gelato shop in 2002. After selling out and then buying back the business when it was on its knees, he's gone on to establish an impressive operation. We caught up with Nick to get his recipe for small store success.
So Nick, you've turned a thriving local business into a globally renowned brand. How did you get started?
Originally from Adelaide, in the restaurant industry, and discovered gelato making, and fell in love with the process. I always wanted to create a new brand, and I kind of saw a gap in the market. I didn't think gelato was really represented well in Australia.
Now, you sold out about a year and a half, 2 years in, and then rebought the business. What did you do to turn it around? What did you do differently?
Focus. I decided that this is what I was going to do, and I thought, okay, well, you've got to do it right and think a little bit differently. I made a lot of mistakes, and yeah, the trick is try not to make the same mistakes twice.
Huge industry, $500 million, expected to grow to 600 million over the next 5 years. How do you stay ahead of the competition?
Innovation, innovation, and then more innovation. We were born from a standalone gelateria. We didn't know 5 years ago that we'd have 6 stores today, with one in China and one opening up in October in Vegas. We didn't know this 4 or 5 years ago. So we were just a bunch of guys making some really good gelato. That's what we were. Actually, give me an apple pie. You've got to try the apple pie.
Oh, that's great.
Try that.
You do get a huge amount of traction for your sort of really offbeat flavours. What does that innovation process look like?
We all really get involved, and it's, you know, we go on trips overseas and we see a dessert with certain combinations that we've never seen before. We just translate that into a gelato. It comes from everywhere. A movie that comes out with a certain theme will come up with something. It's endless.
And what inspires you then?
This is what I do. So to me, it's kind of my life. It's what I love doing. I don't really know how to do much else, so I dedicate my entire working life to it.
Now, you recently expanded into China and eyeing a shop in Las Vegas as well. What are the considerations before you do expand overseas with a food product?
I think you need to have your foundation correct at home first. China's an extremely difficult market to get into. The only thing that might change is with the innovation, we may skew it to more Chinese-friendly flavours, but the philosophy is still the same.
Now, through your 6 stores in Australia, 1 in China now, you've pursued an owner-operated model. What's the motivation there?
We have this thing that if the word Messina appears on any building, we want to be the owners, because we're manufacturers and we're retailers. What we do though is in certain areas geographically where they're a little bit difficult to get to, where we can't constantly be there and have a look at, we take on minority business partners. So they may own 10, 20 or 30%. And we basically just do a joint venture with them, and they live and breathe the store.
And what do the 2 businesses look like? So you've obviously got the retail front and then the production side of things. Do they operate independently?
They operate independently, but the manufacturing is basically a slave to the retail. So, you know, as long as the manufacturing makes $1, we're happy. We push all the revenue and all the profit through the stores.
So Nick, what do you do by way of advertising?
Not a lot, basically social media. It's where we spend pretty much 90% of our time and energy.
So no paid advertising at all?
None at all.
That's a remarkable structure.
No print, no marketing, nothing. Because we recognised earlier on that you can fast track a lot of the word of mouth by using social media. You need to back it up with a product, you need to still do all the other things. But of course now you can get your message out a little bit quicker than what traditionally could before. What are we up to now with salted caramel? 5, 6 possibly? It's our #1 seller.
That's your most popular flavour?
Yeah.
And Nick, what are your top tips for small businesses wanting to emulate your success?
Focus and then more and more focus, because it's all about what you're making. It's all about the product, and always think of everything you do on how it reflects on your brand.
Nick, it's a terrific business story. Small business onto the big stage. I'm sure a lot of small businesses can take something out of this. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Look, it's a classic case of vigorously testing a business model before expanding. That and a dedicated and structured approach to innovation. The result is a terrific business with queues right around the corner and, as Nick said, not a dollar of advertising in sight. Really is amazing.